Oh yes, wake up to Galaxy Radio. Lincoln Sugar Mine that on the ends every time. You don't know.
Legalize it. Galaxy will advertise it. Legalize it, yeah, yeah. Galaxy will advertise it. Well, this is an Iron Man Bushman, and right now you got it locked to Galaxy Radio, 99.5 FM. Don't move that dial. Blessed love.
In this world of trouble, a station come to me, speaking words of wisdom. Galaxy, 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 galaxy.
Day's a feast and I'm ready to eat. But why am I not tired? Wake up, wake up, wake up. The sun ignite my soul, I'm charged. The day's a feast and I'm ready to eat. But why am I not tired? Artists work 24/7. I use sleep as an opportunity to astral body travel through Stargate portals. Waking up in the middle of the night to write the scenes I've seen in my dreams. I go deep like a submarine. My purpose is to dive below the surface. To be specific, the great depths of the Atlantic is where I spend my dream time studying the remnants of Atlantis. But before I go further, let me explain why I don't have materialistic visions of popping Dom Perignon and using women's asses as champagne glasses. I've been past this since the feeling of fasting grasped me, left me empty. The opening of a black hole within my insides when I tried to do a 9 to 5, get drunk on a Friday night and live a generic life. Listen, we are here for a greater purpose. So I was faced with standing at a place of no return at the edge of the cliff. I looked down from the frightening heights of Mount Everest. Took a deep breath in preparation before hurtling into the infinity of the rabbit hole for this eternal journey to master the inner and outer worlds. Has no destination, but a free spirit yearns for more. So I must explore, so I meditate, sat in a Buddha pose. I rose, blooming into a higher state of being. The ancient gods recognized me as one of them. So before me, they opened up multi-dimensional gateways. A brain operating at 10% of its capacity cannot get to grips with concepts beyond this physical paradigm. How I appear in more than one place at the same time. My mind began to expand as the unknown strands of my DNA unraveled mysteries from my ancestry, rooting throughout history to the first divine beings that walked this planet. I can now fathom the power I feel every time I write. A solar ball of flames rotates in my palms. Now I'm able to create. Listen, we're too great to self-deprecate. What fear is there when you see yourself macrosized in the skies? We are stars on earth in human form, and my poetry is a mirror to show you just how much we all shine.
Just how much you all shining brightly, and we are locked in for the next couple of hours. It's Stella B
and Nat Nye
on Galaxy Radio, the only de-brainwashing
station.
Give thanks. We have rushed across London to get here for as quick as we could to get here on time.
Yeah. Blasting through human traffic on the underground.
The Matrix, it seemed like, because it was just juxtaposition coming from an excellent event, which was looking at European black history.
Blacks in Europe.
That's right.
history.
It was so fascinating. And so to learn all of the different stuff, which we're going to touch on, actually, we're going to talk a lot about that. And then to get on the tube to see everyone just milling around and not really engaged with anything that we just been in. It was like walking through the Matrix, really, truly.
People don't know. They don't know.
They don't have a clue. So, yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today. So we got here in time, so bless us with our superhero capabilities.
Yeah, we flew. But give thanks to Freestyle for holding the fort for us, actually.
Yeah, give thanks to Freestyle. A wonderful show just before us, as per usual.
As per usual.
Got my notes here because really want to not miss anything out from what we picked up today. I was on the panel.
Yesterday.
I was on the panel.
You was?
I was.
Shining.
Aw. Really?
Fabulously.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Say it again.
You was shining. Like a supernova. You know how supernovas just blast light?
Wow.
Blinding light.
Wow.
Light to make the sun blink, you know?
Well, I give thanks for that because I was amongst two really top panelists as well. There was Yvonne Fielding, who is the founder of, or co-founder of Ubelly, which is an excellent organisation. You must simply check out it by going on ubele.org, spelt UBELE.org. And the movement is powerful, and they've got a lot of projects that are coming to fruition and coming out in I think in the next week, actually. A launch of one of their things, which is, I've written it down, access to spaces for Saturday schools. That's one of the things that they've got coming out.
So anybody who has a Saturday school or taking their children to Saturday schools, this is one to look out for. Yes,
because they're looking at spaces. They're looking about the whole process of gentrification, the London plan, which is what their group has been investigating. They've not only looked at London areas, they're looking at other major cities as well. And there's actually drawing up a map which you can access online as well on ubelly.org, which is showing you what the actual gentrification process is meaning for our people. And it's more than knowing the word gentrification, it's actually understanding or overstanding what that is actually, the ethnic cleansing that is actually, ethnic social cleansing that is happening.
Big up to ISIS. Sister Isis.
Sister Isis was there.
Isis Amlak, and she said, you know what, actually we should transition from using the word gentrification and call it what it is, which is what you just said, you know, socio-ethnic cleansing.
Yes, that's right. And it's a place to call home. It's a place to call home report that has been delivered by ubelly.org, which is what's going to come out I think next week, she said, or in the next couple of weeks. You can find the information. We're going to have it posted up on Black Study Group, which is the organisation that I'm a co-founder of. And you will be able to find all the information on there if you miss out on any information that you hear today. Check it out on Black Study Group, Facebook or Twitter. We'll be posting up as much information as we can.
And so what was you speaking about, Stella?
So
shining.
Representing Black Study Group, big up to Mary Belgam, my sister, and Natalie Evans, co-founders of the group. I was just invited to talk about the using social media as an empowerment tool for the Black movement or the African movement, and how we do it, how Black Study Group uses it. So we're just breaking down all the different ways. So first of all, just asked the audience to take out their smartphones and add Twitter at Stella Belgam, at Nat Sayonai, which is you, my king.
Hey.
And to add at Black Study Group, all one word. And also, if they had access to Facebook, to also, add Black Study Group as well. Look for us to search and like our page. And the part of that was to come back to it later and demonstrate how effective it is a tool in terms of passing around the information that is out there for them. So I used a video from Ivan Van Sertima clip talking about European black history and played that, and then got them to check their phones on the Twitter and Facebook to see that I'd actually put that link out. So they now have access to that directly, to that video clip, which has a wealth of information on there and learning on there that they can use as a point, a point where they can now then go and extract the information and look more in depth at what Ivan Van Sertima has put in the video. So that is the power of social media, and that's what I was trying to demonstrate by doing that. Gave a background to who we are and how we formulated, you know, 3 women. Well, there was more of women at the time, but you have to dedicate a lot of time to it. So that kind of shrunk to 3 women who were concerned about why is it that a lot of the fathers are not present in our lives, our friends' lives, our children's lives and stuff. So we were looking at the fabric of society and the breakup of family, and also the kind of principles that have been eroded away. So men not taking responsibility for their children and family, sort of the family breakdown. And we felt that it was to do with a lack of education. Part of it is to do with a lack of education and a lack of culture. So Black Study Group was formulated to combat that and give people access to their true history. And that's why we founded it, and that's what also was talking about. Yeah.
So you want to say that a couple of useful attributes that social media has?
There's loads. I mean,
discussed.
So I discussed social media, Black Twitter, and talked about the Black Lives Matter campaign, which you've all heard about, which was sparked off by Trayvon Martin's death. The injustice of Zimmerman getting away with murder, cold-blooded murder, and also Mike Brown and Eric Garner, and these 3 women who were responsible for setting up not Black Twitter, sorry, but the Black Lives Matter campaign, which was a hashtag which everyone now uses as a hashtag to demonstrate any sort of issue that affects us and the injustice of African lives.
Well, in particular in America, yeah.
It's particularly in America, but now it's the hashtag. It's got its own life, if you like.
And
so
it's spread around the world. It's
spread around the world. They don't own the slogan, but they obviously came up with it.
The beginning,
yeah, they were the
founders.
The founders of it. These 3 women. So Black Twitter is very important in the movement. It's so immediate. And I also mentioned that the fact that where there's media blackouts, where people can't access the information because the mainstream media is not putting it anywhere.
So basically, when you turn on your TV and you're expecting to find news, but those of you who are listening to Galaxy, listen to Galaxy for a reason, and this is why Galaxy is called the only brainwashing radio station.
The
reason why it's called that is because the media does not come out with anything. So
no.
Aside from listening to Galaxy, you can also find Twitter.
Yeah, Black Twitter. So Twitter, they call it Black Twitter, but it's news centered around us. It's information centered around us. It's facts centered around us. You know, it's joviality as well. There's a bit of comedy there centered around us. It's Black Twitter. It's for us, and apparently we use it the most according to certain studies. But that was I didn't really touch on that today, but apparently we are the most.
We are Twitterites.
Apparently. But I don't know about that. I don't know. I would have to do more research into it, because I do feel that when you're in a bubble of a social media,
you can think that your world is
it. But then I also know that I only heard about Twitter through like the famous writer Stephen Fry, writer. Yeah, he's a writer and a whatever.
Yeah, Stephen Fry.
Yeah,
that recognizable name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because he used to put motivational quotes and stuff, and so people always go and listen to him or watch what he's saying on Twitter. Yeah. So that's where I heard about Twitter. So I don't know about the Black Twitter being the most popular, but maybe
Maybe.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
yeah, no,
different write-ups about it.
So I did come across a study, and they always study everything that we do anyway.
Yeah.
But they were studying the Black Twitter. There was a university. Remember the
Yeah, read that too.
Yeah,
that was
so-
interesting findings that they put out there.
the Amanda Sills video.
Yeah,
Things I learned this week,
yeah.
and they did the study into Black.
I
Study.
actually saw the study,
You saw the study?
not from the Amanda Seals thing, but when I was researching for that study, I think in American university,
Yeah.
and they tested the actual students there. That's how they came up with the number. And then to me, when I was thinking about it, I was like, yeah, but that's based on one group.
Yeah, but it's not only that. They I don't know whether we reached into the bit where they're talking about what makes Twitter so interesting,
Yeah.
because they were fascinated by why it's so captivating.
And what were they saying?
Well, I can't really remember what they were saying.
Oh, okay.
But I remember the video. The Amanda Seals was like, because we have soul.
I think there's a lot to it. I think there is. We can't deny the comedy element to a lot of Black Twitter, but the
We have
fact
flair.
is, yeah, we have flair and stuff like that. We're probably very creative when it comes to things like the memes and all those kind of little short bursts of joke. But at the same time, because we have a lot of issues in terms of humanitarian issues and things that we're being oppressed about, that platform there is a voice. It's a very loud voice, and it's a way of getting our message out there to be heard, and setting trends. And that actually we do get a lot of things trending. So I think that's probably why, and I think it's sadly a reflection of just how much issues we're facing. The fact that Black Twitter is so strong,
Exactly.
because our voices, we all want a platform where we can speak out against the injustices that are happening, and these things are trending. That shows just how much we're going through in the world globally.
Globally, exactly. So, moving on from social media, if anyone wants to contribute, by the way, and whether you've learned, because there's a Facebook meme out actually. If you're not learning anything from Facebook, then you need to see who your friends are. Something like that.
Wow, I like that
paraphrasing.
one.
I'm paraphrasing.
That's a good one.
Every day you go on Facebook, you're supposed to learn something. Every day you go on Twitter, you're supposed to learn something, because if your circle of people that you're following or you're friends with are people that are of, consciousness, then they're going to put out things of consciousness.
Yeah, that's right.
So therefore, you're always going to learn something.
Yeah, that's right. So if you're not, then you're... Well, it's that saying, isn't it, about the eagles
Fly together.
together, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's true if you're not really learning. And Facebook is... It's the two sides of internet, isn't there? So you got the side where it's really positive, and you got the side where it's very, very negative.
Filled with misinformation, disinformation,
All
and
of the
worse than that,
misinformation.
world star hip hop.
All of that, like derogatory images of Black people. And that's why when I did bring up Black Vines, that is an area that needs to be looked at, because in a positive sense, it can be used, but it's not quite being used in that sense. The only clip I found was of a Nigerian clip, or a South African clip actually, where they'd done it really well. It was a comedy show, I think, and it was really short. So I think the longest a Vine can be is 15 seconds.
Something like that, or 10 seconds. One of them.
It's
There's
very
seconds,
short.
Few seconds.
And they had a white woman with a European woman with blonde hair. She sat there in the seat for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and then you've got the African host asking about, the question is, how many countries are there in Africa? And they have the tagline at the top of the thing. Yeah, and it said like, to please share, we need to let people know that there's Africa is not a country, it's a continent, and there's exclamation marks. And then they ask the question, he asks the question to her, and she's like, it gives the options like 1 country, 25 countries, or 54. Those are 4 options. And then she says, he's like, you can phone a friend. And then she answers the question, she's like, 1. And he's like, are you sure? Yes, I'm going to go for one country. in Africa, and then the gentleman's like, "You're gonna have to pack your bags." But I thought it was really funny. That's the only find that I found, which was kind of a really funny and positive way you could
spin on it,
on that misinformation, and we just reverse that mindset in a positive way, because everyone can laugh at that
exactly
and not see it as offensive or anything. But it's a learning tool, and then if at the end they could have said no, it's actually 54 or something like that, and then that's the factual things coming out. But the rest of Black vines are just
derogatory,
really derogatory,
World
really
star
sort of bending and stretching a lot of stereotypes and
reinforcing stereotypes.
There's a lot. Because did you see the one where, this is a funny one, I don't know if anyone out there might know this, we're just talking, but there was one where the Nigerian dad is cooking in the kitchen, and with no swear words, because I will never swear on Galaxy Radio, but the Nigerian dad is cooking in the kitchen, and and there's a European mum cooking in the kitchen also, which it's
a cross reference actually. So they've two sat down. In the beginning, you have the European. It's in a European household.
They're both there. It's this one incident. So they're both sat next to each other playing a game, like a blonde European boy and an African boy playing a computer game together. Yeah. That one, and
they're in the room. It starts off in the European house.
That's how it remains.
No, it changes. It starts off, we could tell two different stories now. So
I watched it yesterday.
The one I saw then. It starts off in the European boy's house, and maybe your one is a different one.
No, it's the same one.
It starts with the European boy's house, and they're playing Xbox or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then the mother calls out.
The mother calls out, so that's why. Yeah, and he calls out. This is probably
and then
why it's
the boy says, "Shut up, mum."
Yeah, mum calls out, "Oh, come and wash these dishes," and the boy's like, "Shut the up, mum."
Yeah, that's casually.
It just says, "Oh, shut the up, mum."
This cash.
And you're just like, oh, who talks to their mum like that? That's awful. And so the African boy sees this,
gets impressed.
Well, his eyes widen. He's like, what the, but he's impressed. And then the African father calls out. He's like, oh yeah, come on, wash these dishes.
Then the boy,
and then the boy's like, shut the up, like really aggressively, and I've got that now because I'm in England and this is how they do it here, or in America or whatever.
Imagine anyone listening here, like our brothers and sisters, our kings and queens that are listening, if your son in any black household told you to shut up in any kind of way, what would happen?
Beats.
So this is what the funny part is. Like before he even ends his sentence,
the dad slides into the room and just one time across each cheek, which we don't condone, but it happens, and it's really funny. And those kind of memes that are just culturally, when you are an African child, you're going to relate to those kind of stories. So they're funny in that sense. They're really funny. But then there's some that just go too far.
Because that's not derogatory. There's a difference.
Yeah.
That's not derogatory. There's some that are... But we don't
It's more nostalgic, isn't it?
It's more nostalgic, and it's it's not it's just not derogatory.
Yeah, but that's so those are examples. So we looked at social media in terms of Black Twitter, as we just mentioned, Black Vines, Black blogging. We looked at the blogs that are out there, like Media Diversified.
Yeah, check out Media Diversified. That is an excellent, African British.
Yes, African British
blog,
which
covers a wide range of areas.
Yeah, and a great platform for writers, aspiring writers.
A great platform for writers.
JJ Bolo's has written a couple of great articles there for them. And JJ a few.
Bolo is a poet.
Yes, and a few others to name. I aspire to maybe write for them one day. That would be good. But yeah, they are excellent.
They are, and they're a force to reckon with on Twitter as well.
That's right. So they're getting out there.
They get out there.
And then we named a few American ones, which are the most popular blogs that are out there. But they are our alternative news. They are actually our informers, as well as Galaxy, obviously.
And where we can find out about certain information as well, like Atlanta Black Star is excellent. I mean,
for history, facts.
Historical facts, like throughout the continent, the Caribbean, throughout the world, the world, it covers Atlanta Black Star. They've got articles and like it's like, whoa, you've even got Japan, like, you know, they go in. Yeah,
they do. They really do. And I kind of wonder, how do they get? They must have a massive team, because I wonder, how do they get all that access to all that information? Because it's written up so in such detail, and they do it really cleverly in terms of its bite size, so you can really digest the information.
Exactly.
Like they do the top 10 facts that you didn't know about King Mansa Musa or something like that, and you know, you can really like, oh wow, break it down, and then they give their sources at the end, so you can go and like do more yourself. So yeah, these ones are really great. And Black then is a new one, as in it's not new, but it's new to me in terms of accessing information. But Black blogs are powerful. And a lady in there who had set up an autism one, she encouraged us to write blogs, because people will tune in, people will read what you're writing.
Yeah, because people can relate. They
can relate to it. And off the back of her just making a blog, which was about autism, black children who are affected by autism, she was, you know, invited by the BBC to talk about her. They approached her to talk about this very important subject and shed light on it. But I have a point in my head, because it's going off track, but I don't want to forget it.
Go on,
and I don't have a pen to write it down. But do you remember when they were saying about in England, when Tanya also from Narrative Eye, big up Narrative Eye, who organised this event with Black History Walks. But Tanya Thompson, she did a good, very good presentation on black women, black Tudor women. She mentioned a point that was like, what? About England with slavery at that time, or forever, had banned slavery in the country.
So this is actually, no, to be specific, this was before England first of all became a major superpower, and this was before England was really making much from slavery. And at that specific time, the Tudor times, both Spain and Portugal were the dominant forces of Europe.
But you couldn't enslave anyone on the land. So,
no.
But even up to after after slavery became legalized, or was, you know, the number one trade for them, it still was illegal to enslave or have slaves on the land of England, which was very interesting to me. So they had a case in the Tudor times of the lady, I think her name was Maria Morena, and she
came over.
Yeah, she came over and was taken in by a landlord.
No. She was brought over by I think it was either Portuguese or Spanish, or maybe even Italian. One European anyway, and she was a servant to this individual, and this man tried to not pay her, tried to give her
treated her like a slave and just gave her food and meat. Didn't pay her, and so she took him to court. And won. And they, because you know that's their laws. They don't actually. They can't. He couldn't do that legally. I found that really interesting.
Yeah, it's just fascinating, and it's fascinating because you know that, like yesterday also, like another shout out to Black History Walks, because we might as well go there. Like we did a walk yesterday.
Yeah, get those notes as well
throughout London, and you know we discovered that, like, okay, so we know that we've been here for a long time. It's not just the Windrush that took us here.
Yeah. I mean, they dated it going back to Tanya's information, but they put up a picture which is from Onyeka Nubia's book, which we'll also promote.
Yeah, done.
Because
course.
Everyone must have it. It's Blackamoor's book. You must have seen it around. Probably it's big. looking at our presence from the Tudor times.
Yeah.
But she mentioned a date where a book that was written by Chaucer. Yes, the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer, written in 1389.
In 1389.
1389. So she referenced that, and that was one of the older images. And the cook that was in the image was a black child. And this is before the times where it's actually it's talked about that we were.
It's before slavery. Yeah, not 1389. No, actually. So before that point, I was going to say.
Yeah.
There's 1389,
Roman
but the Roman times, like we were here 2,000 years ago. What
right,
was touched on
Hadrian's
today,
Wall.
Right, the London Wall.
The London Wall.
You know, Septimus Severus.
Yes, yeah, that was mentioned as well.
Septimus Severus was a African Roman emperor that ruled from York in England. And if we go far back to that time, you'd find that York was actually the capital of England.
England at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Septimus
so
Severus.
Our presence
sounds like Harry Potter character.
Well, you know, they take these things. But, like, you know, our presence in Europe has been for a very long time.
Yeah.
And our influence and you know, they like to talk about, you know, they celebrate. You walk through London and you see, open your eyes, take time and walk and look. They celebrate their history.
That's right.
Their history is so entrenched in present day. It's the foundation of what is now.
You can't separate it.
You can't separate it.
So the guilds.
No, I was going. We're going.
There's so much to tell you.
So, like, the whole point is we've been here for a very long time, and our presence and our contribution to where this country is today is outstanding.
Outstanding.
Without it, this country wouldn't be what it is today in any way. In terms
it's
of
underpraised, it's under recognized.
No, they completely whitewash it, innit?
Yeah, it's downplayed to the max.
Yeah, it's downplayed
from
completely.
then till now.
So, what Tanya did say in her presentation was London is one of the most diverse places in the world, and back then in Tudor times it was no different. Obviously, the population was less, but
it was the same as it is now.
Diverse. And
in London, they had more. They had up to 60% of us were black. I think she said in London before it became London as it is now. But there was a period where that was our area, and there was up to 60%.
Seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. So our presence here is big.
But that makes sense in terms of a lot of some of the accounts we were talking about last time. We were talking about S.I. Martin, talking about the pub filled with African people kicking out the police officers. Yeah, so things like that make sense. There's certain areas where there's going to be a lot more of us, and we're just walking around normal and cash, just not a thing. But it's just we can't visualize it. Just how around Peckham, well, back before Peckham starts to turn to what it is now. You walk around Peckham, you're going to see a lot of us there. That's going to be a normal thing. So, yeah,
there's a lot of us here.
Imagining us wearing, I don't know what they wore, all those...
just imagine us here, like...
costumery things.
Yeah, the way they try... And imagine it's us walking that brings around. A lot of this fashion here as well, like Moorish fashion, because the Moors came into Spain around 711 after Christ. And they dominated for several centuries.
That's right.
And then when they come over here now, they're also influencing the English in a certain way, because these civilizations that exist here, they're moving not moving properly, do some nasty things, and like, you know, when they talk about savagery
at that time, they didn't.
They're doing certain
so
things
that ain't
clean, and you know, the Moors are coming and saying, "Nah, man, you can't move like that."
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of influence. There's influence in the language. There's influence. It's all around the place. But there's all a mixture that when you extracting a part of it, it doesn't make sense because it doesn't develop everyone loses out by our African section being removed. Everyone loses out
apart from those who actually enforce it. And this is why it has to be emphasized, this is war, and there's a reason why they do this. We can no longer start in talking the ways of why they're doing this, or anything. We have to appreciate and acknowledge that this is war. We are prisoners of war, and their actions is to keep us in our minds. Be specific who you're talking about. So the elite, those that control the world. We're going to go into guilds and those what we learned about yesterday about guilds. But guilds, these brotherhoods, these elite Europeans that make decisions that affect everybody, they ensure that our contribution is whitewashed, because if we know anything about ourselves and identity and who we are, it's all over. The power is in the mind, and the mind is has to be shackled in a certain way. So when they say you lot were slaves, Martin Luther King, free. When it's put in such a simplified and basic a historical recording, when it's put like that, we are given a very narrow scope of possibility of what we are able to achieve. That's right.
Now, the whole world misses out on development.
Yeah, and you know what? That's shout out to Got Kush TV, and Cozy was saying, and I'll never forget this. One of the most wicked things that they've done. All right, they've dominated and they conquered. Yeah, they've done that, but is to hold back the advancement of the world. Yeah, that's evil, and that's what they've done. And it does hold back the benefit of the world when you do. Even it impacts on their own people in a certain way when they're looking at us in a particular way, when they're not showing us due respect for all that we have contributed and as the original people as well, but all that we've contributed to the advancement of this Western world, let alone the world in general beforehand, before this very short period where they've actually been in power. So, in terms of us knowing ourselves and knowing our contribution, in terms of us knowing ourselves and knowing our contribution, what is good to know is that not only are we had great civilizations throughout the continent of Africa, even during slavery, there was also ones and ones of us in this country in high position and throughout Europe as well, contributing to society. But I believe we have a caller.
We do. We have Brother Paul on the line.
Greetings, Brother Paul.
Yeah, good afternoon, and good show, good information.
Give thanks.
I just want to make a little contribution here.
Yes,
yeah, fire
please.
Away.
Whenever I hear about black people's history, and especially when it concerns the UK, one part which I really feel a bit passionate about, because I feel it gets left out. Listen, we can't underestimate, right, or we can't define our history without explaining the role Zionism has played. Look, because it becomes inaccurate.
Zionism.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because what it is this, look, we often say Europeans as if to suggest it was the Europeans. Listen, the Europeans weren't bright enough to do this. If you do any research on Johnny Henry Clark, he explains who these people are, who these Zionists are, and it goes right back to Africa. It goes right back to Egypt. They were known as the Hyksos. And the relationship they had with the Africans, and they've been there all the while. Even in London, as you're referring to, the populations and some of the things that took place. You mentioned Europeans wrote us out of history. In actual fact, it was the Zionists who wrote us out of history, specific people who deliberately and purposely wrote us out of history. And they've always hidden under this European banner.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, you know, when we say Europeans, we really think of the white man.
Yeah.
But it's not.
So, wait, who are, to be specific, because from my understanding, the white Zionists are white Jews. White Jews are European.
Well, they're not, are they really? I mean, look, the Europeans, Zionists, Ashkenazi Jews originate from Siberia. So, okay, but then if you look at Siberia, you look at the people there. You know, you can argue that they're not. I mean, they look more like Eskimos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do.
So, you understand? So what I'm saying is that these groups have moved around a lot, and yeah, okay, all right, and you can define the Ashkenazis as European, but there are a mixed bunch of people, really, in all honesty. But the point is that they've always managed to camouflage themselves under the guise of Europeans. And most of the people who, when we say Europeans, most people will think the people they live with. You know what I mean? But in reality, this group of people have been responsible for wiping us out of history, deliberately and purposely. I mean, if you look at the Rothschilds, for instance, they controlled most of the dictionaries, most of the encyclopedias, and they were purposely, had them edited to write us out.
Yeah, definitely.
The term, I mean, I've got an old dictionary, and in it has blackamoor, right, which was a common term which the so-called European, the white man, would use to describe the black person. I mean, I was watching a documentary not so long ago, and the woman was writing a letter about American soldiers who came to Wales, and she used the term blackamoor. She used that term, so you can argue that up until the 40s, they were still using the term blackamoor. Find a modern dictionary, you will not find this term in it. It's been taken out.
Right.
Because and it's a purpose. Now, when you look at the dictionary and you look at who owns the dictionary, and then you go a bit further back, who's controlling it, you'll find the same people.
Yeah. Those same bloodlines.
They've deliberately, purposely taken a lot of terms out. To try and wipe our history. I mean, look at Texas right now. In Texas, they are removing slavery from the whole curriculum.
I heard about that.
So that's all my contribution. I'm just saying that.
Wow, that's deep. You can't leave it at that.
Yeah, and the other thing is, for those who want to know, I mean, you can get this. I mean, they've made it available on PDF form. If you really don't understand the role these people have played, get the book, The Secret Relationship Between the Blacks and the Jews. You can get it on the internet. It's on PDF format if they haven't removed it, but it was there.
Okay, deep. And this is the people from Siberia, the Caucasus Mountains, basically.
No, I'm saying this. They call themselves Zionists. That's what they call themselves.
Yeah, they do.
Call themselves Zionists. So if you want to understand, you type in Zionism and then read who they are and what their ideologies are, okay, and then you just follow the information. I mean, but like I said, a good book to explain them. I mean, one of them was Columbus. Columbus was one of them.
Right.
And Christopher Columbus is not his name. He was a Jew himself.
Yeah.
What's the book called again?
The Secret Relationship Between the Blacks and the Jews. Okay. Yeah, and they made it available because they tried to get this information out there. It's available on the internet in the PDF format. But funny enough, I've done searches since and I can't find it. But that doesn't mean it's not available.
Do you know who it's by, Brother Paul?
Sorry?
Do you know who it's by?
Well, I can't remember the author, but I can tell you that our astound academic Tony Martin authorized it. You know Tony Martin?
I heard of the name, yeah.
Yeah, and it was actually published by the Nation of Islam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we look into that one.
But that explains the whole role these people have played from the Moors up until the present day.
Right.
So interesting, yes.
Yeah. Like I do research into these things, and what you're saying about the Rothschilds is like their power and and their reach is huge, and their influence. And in order for them to maintain power as well, what you're saying is, and also what we has to be emphasized. In order for them to maintain power, they have to do certain things like remove us out of the dictionary so that there is no knowledge of us. Because once we know ourselves and who we are, then their time at the top is over, and they know that.
I agree. So my contribution is that when we talk about, we often say the European, but I think it's time now that we be more specific and we identify the saboteurs.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Okay, thanks very much.
Yeah, blessings.
Oh, give thanks, brother. We could have had you for a lot longer. Blessings. Very interesting. Definitely going to check out and look up the secret relationships between the blacks and the Jews and see what we can find, because that's fascinating.
It is. And you see, the names do need to come out so that people know who exactly is running things and who exactly is responsible for what, as well as the corporation. So, like, yesterday when we was going through our... You know what? This is organic, and we're just talking in it. So anyone wants to contribute, like Brother Paul did, the number to call is... The hotline is...
0753-800-5634 or...
0798-385-2952.
Or you can text us on 0757 222 2156.
That's right. And contribute with how you feel.
Yeah, let us know, show us some love, so let us know you're out there listening as well. Big up all the listeners out there. This is deep, so my mind's just, I'm having one of those mind stretching weeks, because we've been watching and looking and understanding a lot of stuff this week, actually.
Yes, indeed.
Not just from today and yesterday, but the whole week has been mind blowing. So this, what you were saying about the
basically, who's responsible for what? Now,
the guilds,
and we're talking about specific people, and when people talk and say that they might be aliens and whatnot, like, I understand it from the perspective of, how can you be so evil? How can you be so evil, like, to do what you're doing to the planet? And it is a group of just bloodlines that have maintained control for the last couple of centuries. Not that long as they try and retell in history, but I'm going to hold the fort because we have a caller on the line.
We have Ricky J, who's just called in. Greetings.
Give thanks, Ricky J.
Greetings to you both. A big respect to Brother Paul for calling in there and dropping some deep knowledge.
Yes.
I just wanted to say, because Brother Freestyle was on not so long ago before yourselves, and he couldn't really touch on the subject matter that was talked about before his guest came on, about religion and stuff like that, and what happened recently in Mecca.
Okay, yes, the Saudi, the stampede.
But one thing I wanted to just say is that in most African tribal customs and traditions and outlooks, there was actually not a monotheistic God. There was not this ideology of just one God. If you actually look at most tribes, they actually create, they actually, out of the natural substances around them, like wood, etc., etc., we would make carvings of, or images of, a variety of different gods that all seem to be connected to nature, and we would worship them. So, this concept of monotheism, or just having one God, as it were, actually was a slow introduction from not just the Arab world, but also the Zionist world as well as the Europeans. But if you date back, as Brother Paul said, at one point, even in England, there was actually a lot of paganistic ideology, which, if you look at paganism properly and examine it properly, was to do with actually nature. And a lot of the African concepts of having more than one, you could say, creative force, do you understand, was taken on board by a lot of pagans. And especially in the medieval era, or the witch hunt era in this country, in England, this is where they started to get mainly the pagan and try to destroy them. Because they came with the idea that basically, yes, we do believe in the same African concepts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, there definitely there's a link between that, because as the so-called pagans, as you say, did worship a lot of nature and were in tune with nature, and that was violently stopped, eradicated. And that was the same method that was used to strip Africans from their spirituality. But in terms of going back to the point of the
monotheistic.
Yes. I believe I read recently, actually this week, talking about the week of knowledge or learning, from two different sources, about the Akhenaten being the one pharaoh in Kemet.
The 25th century, yeah? I mean, the 25th dynasty you're talking about.
The 25th dynasty.
No, before that. The 18th dynasty.
Oh, the 18th dynasty.
18th. Okay.
Who came up with the concept of praising Sun Ra?
The one God.
The one God.
Yeah, God.
Ra, Sun Ra, yeah.
Yes, so that was the earliest of that, wasn't it?
Before that point, actually, I have one contention with what you're saying, Ricky J. Like, everything else I agree with, but one contention is that the Africans, from my research anyway, did show appreciation and do give thanks and I wouldn't say worship, but give thanks to nature, all forms of nature. There's whatever, but they do recognize beneath all of that there is one, or above all of that, sorry, there is one source that we all come from. That is each is a manifestation of that one source. It's not the. But I agree with what you're saying in terms of the concept of this one God who's been humanized.
Yeah,
comes from the mainstream religions of today.
Yeah, well, I mean, let me clarify what I was going to say, because I'm glad that you interjected there and you said what you said, because what I was I failed to mention was the modern world religion.
Yeah.
Basically, the New World Order. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Their concepts, you know what I'm saying, and what they're trying to do. But,
mass control.
What was I going to say now? Well, I'm getting old.
Never.
As far as I'm concerned, it's like, you know what? I don't know. I was caught up with a lot of different what I call New World religions at some point. And I started to realize that, you know what, it's not from outside in, it's from inside out.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's not about following. All the answers are in us. We are consciousness. We are the great I am. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. The oneness.
The oneness.
Exactly. But anyway, listen, I know other people want to get through, so much love to you all and blessings from the ancestors.
Blessings, brother.
Okay.
Ricky J.
Yeah, blessings.
Peace
and love. And my thoughts and our thoughts are going out to all the families affected by the tragedy that did take place at Mecca.
Indeed.
And yes, we pray that strength and guidance to the families out there.
Indeed, it's a sad situation. Yeah, so we were going into the guilds.
We were going into the guilds because yesterday we went on a Black History Walks, which was fantastic. And anyone who hasn't done it yet, I 100% recommend it. We 100% recommend it because it's so interesting. It's so
interesting.
much facts to be looked. It's normally a 10-minute walk from. We started
from
at
St. Paul's
to Bank, but it took 2 hours because we were stopping at different points and learning about the history of each of those architecture, the constructs, the buildings, the roads, the names of the roads. All of that is you have to do it.
You have to do it. Yeah,
I encourage that.
If you're on Facebook, like Black History Walks.
Yeah, just type that in.
In fact, Google Black History Walks and keep up with what Black History Walks is, because what Tony Warner is doing is amazing. And this Black History Walks is so essential because, like, everything is hidden in plain sight.
That's the best part about it.
Which means it's
there.
In
your face, as he says. It's in your face. That's how he says it.
And he's
it's
right.
just blatantly in your face.
Blatantly.
Yeah, and... yeah, we can give a little bit away. We don't want to give away too much because you have to see it for your face.
You do need to come and see it because, like, all right. So at the beginning, like
the first.
Okay, so how we got to this point here in our journey of conversation, where we stop by and we observe stars that are and trinkets being or light being shone on us from our callers as stuff as we go upon this journey. And we're gathering more and more and sharing, right? We got to guilds because we're Brother Paul was talking about Zionists and being specific about who's actually running things, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, we were introduced to guilds.
Yes, so you've all seen these crests around, haven't you? And these kind of logos.
Because you walk past and do you actually consume these things in our eye line?
Guess not, but you know about crests, royal crests, or different types of logos. What was actually described to us yesterday as these kind of logos, or like he related it to if you were a female carrying one of those Gucci bags or those kind of things, which is a next point actually, because the fashion house is another guild. I think
it is.
It's a massive one, but so. We don't really know what these coat of arms mean. Like we just see them around, and they're like part of the furniture, part of the woodwork, part of the thing. And so the very first thing we learnt about, which we're giving away.
It doesn't matter because you need to. Just because we're telling you these things, we're not going to cover
you
it
still
all.
See
it's a summary. It's a summary, and what Tony Warner does. It goes in depth. It goes in.
So, one of the first guilds he talked to us about was Sadler's Guild, so the original formation was, a bunch of guys. Imagine there's a bunch of guys who are all, blacksmiths or carpenters. He said carpenters was the example. And with that, they all one charges £30, one charges 40, one charges 50. And he asked, which one would we use? And I'm like, £20.
Yeah, we were saying the cheapest one.
Some people were like, no, go for the expensive one
for quality.
So then this group of men create this movement, this guild, and they say, no, look, we'll all a pact and we all charge at 50. So therefore, we're all making money. We're all making.
They protect each other's earnings.
Yeah, it's a brotherhood. It becomes a fraternity. It becomes all those kind of words that we all recognize, and that's the whole system there. So these guilds were set up as early as let me try and get my brain working. I don't remember the year.
I can't remember the one year either.
I can't remember the year, but if any listeners are aware of these things, then you can let us know. I didn't jot that down, unfortunately. But one of the ones he talked about, to name a couple, was he showed us a crest which had 2 elephants on there.
No, but before you go there, the Sadler's one is an interesting one to mention.
Okay, yeah.
The reason why that's interesting is because how many people we see on horse these days?
Well, just the coppers.
Right.
Well, if you live in the countryside, then I'm sure you see a lot more.
Right.
Or Surrey or somewhere.
And who is it catered for?
Not me.
Right. It's catered for...
Not me.
It's not catered for many. It's catered for a very few elite.
Yeah.
And what is interesting about that Sadler's Guild is that it's still in operation today, as if...
They all are.
They all are, but what's interesting is about that one, we've got cars now. Do you know what I mean? So there's tradition that they're holding on to. Number one, they're holding on to tradition, and it's fully operational. Like, we saw the building. The building is not old. It's not crackling down. It's not like it needs to be knocked over. It looked nice.
And they had their crest there, the massive thing. But what was that one? What was their business? Do you remember? It was horse
saddles.
Horse saddles. Okay.
Yeah, but they do more than that. And this is the point I'm gonna make.
Yeah.
Like, because they've held on to tradition. They've held on to its legacy, and they've held on to its money. It's got a lot of money. They are now able to
make
fund.
Sadler's Wells.
Right.
What was that Sadler's building there? What was it inside?
Oh, I can't remember.
Okay.
But exactly, the Sadler's Wells. They're able to fund certain arts, fund certain projects
today.
Buildings. As of 2015,
Yeah.
they're able to afford the rent. In one of the most expensive square miles in the entire world.
Yeah.
So that is an example of one that isn't even needed per se today, because we've got different forms of transport, yet it's still so powerful. And something to think about.
So, and then obviously and there's obviously other corporations that make these things now, but these things are establishments. They become the institutions of those
foundations.
The foundations. So it's like, I would imagine that only the Queen probably gets the saddle made by that guild. Like,
right.
I would imagine.
Exactly.
But then he went on to talk about the guild, which was of describe it to you.
Now we are actually we may not, because now we might be
spoiler alert, but you know what, it's brilliant and fascinating stuff, and if people aren't listening, you can go and tell them to come along the Black History Walk, and then
actually for real, you know what, so this information is to make sure that you go and you can keep the information close to your chest and just bring people along with you.
Bring a friend, bring two friends,
family.
The next one's in November, I believe.
October.
In time for Black History Month.
He's got different ones.
He does it.
It's monthly.
It's monthly.
Yeah.
So you might see us there again potentially.
Exactly.
Maybe.
The next one I think is in Soho.
So yes, this logo has 2 elephants on there. One has big ears, one has small ears, and we all know where elephants come from.
If we don't,
well, we'll give it away then.
What's happened?
India and Africa.
Of course.
Africa has the big ears. Haha. I'm joking. That's not neither here nor there. And then in the middle is a castle.
Right.
At the top, and 2 swords crossing the front of this guild. This logo, this kind of, trend thing. What do an elephant and castle make?
A place in South London.
Which is where their headquarters is. Was.
It's not there no longer.
And they were responsible for selling ivory coated cutlery.
Yeah.
Cutlery
and swords.
And the cutlery drawer is called that because of my brain. Why was it called cutlery drawer?
I don't know, but this is information for people to find out when they go.
Yes, I think it's something to do with the name cutlers or something. But sorry, I shouldn't even have mentioned that. But so Elephant Castles, they were cutlery makers, and they were also made piano keys, and they made chessboards. They made snooker balls. All those things were made out of ivory. Imagine the amount of elephants, because they became,
big
super uber rich off of this business. Because so many, imagine all that cutlery that's being made out of ivory, it was sought after, and they managed to create a big company.
And you can imagine, right, so that's still in existence today. And again, the same point remains with the Sadler's one. Who is it for?
And this is why when people like the Prince William that was saying, we need to get rid of ivory, and he was saying, let's throw out all the ivory things that were stolen from Africa. He was saying, let's burn it all, because he really cares about elephants.
I know that.
After yesterday, yeah, he said that, and he was ridiculed in the news. They made a real mockery of him and saying, "Oh, how can he say? How can he say that? That's valuable history." Like, for once, actually sticking up for things that they don't normally care about. But it was like, now you kind of think about the protected unit that these guilds are, and why they don't, even though they know how barbaric these kind of companies that will take him from elephants and killing them off, and the endangered species and all that. It's a protected guild. It's like, that's why they don't let this stuff go. Yeah, it's not because there's weirdos. They are weirdos, but there's people out there that just don't really click with the fact that this is endangering species, and that they know. But it's like, this is their power source. This is what they want. This is their long lineage.
They're straight up barbaric. They are. Like,
it's not just that though, is it?
No, it's not. It's a part of their evil and their power, but like they're barbaric. They are. They're wicked. It's like money based,
it's just they never want to let these things go, like, because
can't.
it's part of history. It's steeped in history. Just pass it down. This is what we do. This is, all this kind of stuff.
The tradition.
There must be guilds in everything. I wonder if there's guilds in this fox hunting, the guilds in.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? In the ones that who provide the hounds, the ones that make the equipment, the guns, all that kind of stuff.
There's guilds and but
that's why this stuff gets eliminated, even in a modern world that knows all this stuff all this tradition needs to go. It's just never going to be gone because they've got protection. They've got
the tight and control.
Units that just stay forever.
That old money, that old school, old Western.
I mean, we've got to break all this stuff down and get rid of it all.
Yeah, the whole system's got to go. But the levels to this thing has to be drawn out, and we have to map it out. We have to see how the system works on its various different levels. What other guild were you going to talk about? The
tobacco one. But that's it. We won't go in.
No, because I wanted to mention another one, actually.
Okay. Well, okay, so there's the tobacco one, and there's, I think, the one you were going to mention.
The goldsmiths.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the tobacco one, quickly, Terra Logo is a pipe makers guild, and it's still one of the top 100 pipe makers in the world. And it's very expensive, obviously. Their guild has 2 black men on the front of its crest, with on a plantation thing, looking very poor. They don't look like the richest black men on the front.
They're trying to depict a certain picture.
Yeah, and that one was deep. I couldn't really get over that one. But yeah, so you had that guild that's still in existence today, making millions. And then
the goldsmiths. Now, the goldsmith guild is deep for obvious reasons, because there's a whole lot of gold in, first of all, its building, and the gold that it's taken.
The Goldsmiths University.
The gold, right. So it funded the Goldsmiths University. Goldsmiths University was created out of the Goldsmiths Guild, but the gold that it is stolen from the Gold Coast, formerly known as the Gold Coast, Ghana.
Named by the Europeans.
How wicked. Africa, basically. The gold they've stolen from Africa, the resources they've stolen from Africa, is the goldsmiths. The goldsmiths, in fact, we learned, had so much gold that they were able to start off the Bank of England with that gold. Plus, the gold that the royal family has. And you have to think, like, England has no gold whatsoever. Gold is in Africa. So that there's a goldsmith that is running, that is, operating today, functioning smoothly. They're taking it from us, even today. And, the money, like, we one day we'll go into this properly. We'll go in about money, what money represents. Money is a means. In the society that we exist in today, we have to become economically smart in order to get by, because we can't continually live in impoverished conditions. However, we have to think outside of this system and building up our own one, really and truly, because this capitalism one is built off the backs of Africans. And we are the foundations.
The blood of the African people.
The blood of the African people. We can't ever think that we will ever reach the top of this current system as it is. We've got to survive in it and then build our own one. Because that's what we do. We are creators. We create. So let's create. We can create an alternative system. We can go back to systems that, or go back and modernize or make them relevant to today. Systems that we had before that lasted for thousands of years as compared to like a couple hundred years, if that. Like, so essentially you have this money thing, which, you know, you find out that, okay, all the Western countries, and this to bring it back to what Brother Paul was saying actually about the Rothschilds and those bloodlines as well, who actually owes who money. You expect the resource rich yet poor countries to be in debt. You expect that. But when you're hearing about United States of America, UK, France, Ireland, Spain, Greece, all of them in debt, who are they in debt to? China, also in everyone's in debt to who? Then you have to analyze what is money. Money is represented by the banks deciding, okay, we can put in this amount of paper money, therefore inflation, therefore certain things cost more or have a higher price to them but a lesser value. And then when things are good, they've got a lower price and a higher value, or vice versa. Money is not represented by gold as it once was. But those who have power hold gold vaults, gold in their vaults. They hold gold in their vaults. The Bank of England has got gold. The goldsmiths has got a lot of gold. The Rothschilds themselves have insane amounts of gold. The royal family, gold. And you have to think about, like, why have they got this gold that no longer represents the money? Because beyond the money is the resources, and that matters more. And then also there's if we go into like alchemical abilities and all of those things, what gold represents.
What in alchemy, you mean?
In alchemy, gold represents perfection. And to, obtaining a lot of this gold, what does it mean, you know? So...
And what's diamond again? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
Okay, I'm going to look that up quickly because remember it fascinated us what that represented as well. I'm going to look it up. Right, yeah. So it's not just, like people like to focus on the celebrities or the rappers that would like to wear a lot of bling or whatnot, and fashion purposes. But beyond that, there's a reason why these elite, or so-called elite, hold on to these precious metals. Yeah, it's the alchemy is they're holding on to power.
They're holding on to power. So this 360 degree is holistic. They've taken a lot from us and they've turned it and made it satanic. Yeah, we're not going to give away too much more from the Black History books. There's more I even wanted to say. Yeah. Because you've just gone on to another point which was relevant to the stealing of what they've taken as well. So, yeah, but I won't. Oh, I'm going to keep my mouth buttoned. Yeah, you just need to go to the Black History Walks. But the good thing is that the Black History Walks is not just one walk. There's different walks. So there's the one in Soho, which you need to go to, the one in Notting Hill, and there's another one elsewhere. Wasn't Elephant Castle, was it? I don't know. Okay, but check it out for yourself. Black History Walks on Facebook, online, you can type it into Google and it will come up. Loads of things happening. He also does the movies as well, screenings. Yeah, we saw Queen and Tinga. We spoke about that before. Yes, on here. So go check it out. We're going to have a little interlude. Give your ears a break from all this knowledge. Yeah, that you're offloading of knowledge. And enjoying the sounds of the amazing artists we had last week. Yeah, Watusi 87. Yes.
79114. Spread the thoughts long, yeah we walk strong. Awesome, eating beats till they're all gone. I won't be anchored, flows be transferred. No the standard, I raise phony gangsters, actors and actresses, and activists of accurate practices. They're back to biz, I'm higher than the robin. I'll be tired of the shot and I'm residing with the rotten. Where the tides are picking cotton, I've forgotten. But not stopping to the sky, I will be trotting. I'll be topping, when I drop into a button. I'm in Notting Hill, stop and chill. Keep going, I'll be evolving, see sowing while free flowing. Keep throwing, each poem while beats blowing. Lights beam blowing, every side street snowing. Got my psyche growing, keep the tight cheat towing. Every rhyme steam rolling, yeah, I know. Hey, do the damn thing, 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 do the damn, yeah, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Babs. Over your head.
79114.
Let them all come, get a portion. Torch on, more ones with the fork tongue. My sword is the source, no pause for the cause. It's the law of the Lord, more in store. Probably kicking through your doors and your entrance. For the force of the sentence, ripping through your cause and your tendons of vengeance. Hit you with the pen or the pencil. Tell you, rebel ain't friends with the devil with endless potential. Step in the levels, assemble the mental. Instrumentals sent to the temple. Whether you're Nepalese or you're Bengal. From the Senegal streets to the French rules. I let fall specials from the vessels. Step wrestle out the cesspool, influentials. Get schooled to your heads full. I know. Hey, do the damn thing, 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 do the damn thing. Why not? Do the damn thing, do the damn thing, do the damn thing, do the damn thing, do the damn. Yo.
On soft clouds, passing by, smoking tide, taking flight, so high up, will I drop? Do I start? When I'm blessed, I shall rock with my bomb, and me up, need no book, no more bling, just do the damn thing.
Though I was born in the tax era, I remember the ancestor. Open your eyes, oceans wide with the fat measure. Rap treasure, glam breaders, better no matter the weather, yo. We still under this damn pressure, mad stress, the digital age and physical rage. Remember, back in the day, watching Liverpool play, Robbie Fowler and Ian Rush. Remember thinking I was really tough until I got treated rough and beaten up. Now, a circle disc got their foot square. My words are weapons while they're into modern warfare. I'm old school, so I fight off the Cyclops. Don't deny the iPads, the iPhones, the iPods. And when it's fat, every track is a quality track. Going back, my first word said was probably a rap. I remember break beats that make people dance. Whatever happens to chillin' in your b-boy stance. Do you remember? Remembering the veterans, every message sent was medicine, and everything is everything, a specimen of melanin. Stepping in, rebelling is them again, a menacing, deadly sting, getting in, flesh and skin, head and limb. Demons dance while devils sing, if anything. Spread your wings, I'm breathing bars to reach the stars that keeps me charged. On speakers blast when beats are hard, it beats the hearts from freedom pass. And I really can't leave the past. Knowledge is power if you know the ledge. Let's get it cracking like open eggs. Roads I've stepped from stolen bikes to stolen pets. My foes I've left, I'm going right, I know it's best. Radiating in my solar plex. Those special memories and golden times I won't forget, as I remember.
I remember me as a youngin' listening to Pop's finals. I knew from the start that I end up in the cycle, rubbing shoulders with greatest musicians who made it before they make it. On the radio play this, trying to find myself, trying to find my soul. SOS for help, the music takes control of me, getting me back on my feet. I visualize the memories in my sleep of me dreaming for stardom and playing a part in the real music you can put in your car and cruise and take a step back and listen to the music you're making, find it in the piece in you. Am I reaching you? If I ain't, then the beat's got to.
Are we seeping through? If we ain't, then the beat's got to.
I'll meet you on the front line.
So meet me on the front line. African children, no weapon, no.
Africa's calling.
No weapon formed against I and I shall prosper in this time,
We
no.
dance to a different drum.
When the rhythm changes, so does the dance. Rise like the morning sun. African children, African children.
Africa's calling.
No weapon formed against I and I shall prosper in this time. Let's take this moment in our hands.
Babylon is falling.
And soon these walls will all come tumbling down. For the wicked reap the seeds they sow. Music is our weapon, so come with word, power and sound.
Africa's calling.
When the rhythm changes, so does the dance.
And if this music is the weapon, then keep on brandishing. For the love of your mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, sisters, brothers, aunties, uncles, nephews, nieces, friends and enemies. Let's continue to brandish our collective knowledge of self with dignity, love, compassion and good intentions. Let's brandish our creativity, talent, skill, wisdom, courage, dreams and visions as weapons and tools of liberation and empowerment in the battle for truth, rights and justice. Our responsibility to instigate and invoke the greatness of our African ancestors. So Babylon must burn, watch the flames as they rise, herald the birth of a new universal paradigm, a better future for the world in original design.
No justice, no peace. The tide of these racist police. New world order, white supremacy. Evil in men's hearts and blood in the streets. No justice, no peace. No justice, no blood in the streets. No justice, no peace. When the rhythm changes, so does the dance. No weapon formed against I and I shall prosper in this time, no. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Eyes in the skies, fly upon the wall. Babylon, listen to your telephone call. Stop. When the rhythm changes, so does the dance.
I'll meet you on the front line.
So meet me on the front line. Stop.
Africa's calling.
No weapon formed against I and I shall prosper in this time. No justice, no peace. When the rhythm changes, so does the dance. Stop.
Africa's calling.
No justice, no peace.
Babylon is
No
falling.
justice,
drums, horns, instruments, voices, heads, hearts, eyes, noses, ears, hands, arms, legs, feet, pencils, paintbrushes, pens, spray cans, placards, megaphones, microphones, amplifiers, cameras, laptops, smartphones, running shoes, boxing gloves, tennis rackets, football boots, and baseball bats for freedom. Stand in your power with humility, reverence, and dignity, and brandish with all your might. When the rhythm changes, so does
Music is our weapon.
the dance.
Music is our weapon.
Music is a weapon.
Music is our weapon indeed.
The fantastic sounds of African Revolution. There.
Ras Ashiba.
Yes.
And the African Revolution. And
Big
before
tune.
him, it was also of the African Revolution movement, our brother,
Our soldier.
our warrior, rapper.
Gifted and talented.
He was here before.
Brightening up the studio last week on
Blazing.
Saturday. With his energy that is just off the wall. Caller had to come up and say, you know, can you just rein it in a little bit? It was so much energy, but the fantastic Watusi 87 there with the tracks we played just before, which was called Remember, and the first track, Do the Damn Thing, do the damn thing.
Just do the damn thing.
Which is Nat Nye's favourite song.
Because it says, do the damn thing. And you feel it every part. You have a bone.
Yeah, we might have to repeat that one on the way out. But yes, that was also by Watusi 87, featuring the beautiful sounds
Our
and
sister.
vocals of Golden Blue.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna get back on it. We've got 20 minutes left or so.
Essentially, what we're talking about today is black or
European
Europe's black history.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about.
What
Europe's
is
black history.
completely eliminated from our
consciousness.
And as Brother Paul
curriculum.
mentioned earlier, like literally taken out of his encyclopedias, like robbed out.
Deep. Literally.
And the reasons for it. So we went on to talk about Tony Warner's Black History books because it's all very relevant.
Yeah, because it's talking about not only our presence here in the UK, in England, but also what they've stolen from us.
What they have stolen. And it's a lot. I mean, the fact is, the reason we're saying the word stolen is because we didn't benefit from any of this extraction, any of it, but England has. And when you look around all these beautiful buildings and all these architecture and all the Renaissance, all the great periods of time that they
Parliament, Buckingham Palace,
all of that built off
all that they celebrate,
nothing that they actually have, just things that they extracted from Africa and African
elsewhere.
people. Let's contextualize it. Let's put the people back into it, because we say taken from Africa, some abstract thing from the people themselves, from us. This is what we have to resonate with as well, and think about the effects until now. Because I still think about when Brother Kunga Jed came on, and he was talking about in Tanzania his experiences then, and seeing a lot of brothers who are still affected by the effects of colonialism today, and living in certain conditions that is a direct result of the conditions that their ancestors have been put through.
Right.
And that resonated with me. It stays till now, because that's the impact that lasts. It's a legacy that lasts for as long as we give it power to.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's worth thinking about in those terms as well. Like when we look at these beautiful buildings around England, around London, go to Bath, as again Kunga Dread mentioned, see all these Georgian buildings and give them, oh wow, they're so beautiful, we'll keep them forever, listed buildings, don't ever get rid of them, don't ever. All these gardens, these garden projects that, you know, they carved out these landscapes, all the beautiful landscapes, is all off the back of teething
set of people,
because we didn't have, there's nothing here.
There's nothing here, and this is again the lack of appreciation, But then again, if you're capable of stealing, how could we expect you to show any sort of appreciation?
Right. I mean, the thing that was here, coal, shut down. They shut down that industry.
Yeah.
And so that the North couldn't get as strong as it was getting off the back of it. I mean, it's deep.
All kinds of internal things. But yeah, we've been here for a while. We've been here, like, the records show that we've been here for a very long time. I mean, Ricky J called in and said about our influence to pagan beliefs, and this is a presence that has continued from. It will be interesting to get times and dates, and this is next time, like, we do talk on this topics, I'll go more in, or we can go more in about specific times and dates, because we know that, you know, the witch hunts and that, the influence, the pagans, that is like after Septimus Severus.
Yeah.
That's after his time. His time was 2,000 years ago. So the witch hunts, I believe, were more towards the time of the Crusades, which is roughly 1,000 years later.
Right.
But, a bit more than that. So maybe 1,300 years.
Okay.
But, yeah, so Septimus Severus is here, you know, ruling, a ruling Roman emperor. And then you have, you know, what was talked about today was Hannibal Barca, or Hannibal Barca, Hannibal the Annihilator, who they've also whitewashed.
Yeah, that was a really interesting clip. 2 clips from History Channel 1 and one from the BBC.
The Backwards Broadcasting Corporation.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny because at least with the History Channel, which it also does tend to doctor some facts and figures and images too, but this time they at least gave Hannibal
some sort of
complexion.
Yeah, he had some sort of melanin.
He had melaninated skin in some ways, but the BBC just completely Europeanized the brother that what Hannibal was, became a complete more like maybe a Greek person or something.
Yeah, the Liberty, and he's from Carthage.
The same not stories, the same history.
Exactly.
Same history, different depiction, and that's BBC's depiction of everything.
Just don't watch BBC. Period.
No,
it's poison.
Yeah, so Hannibal's time.
Yeah, Hannibal. Right, so Hannibal was got a mention because he was considered one of the greatest military strategists or military
and fighter as well, and warrior.
Yeah, considered because he took on the Romans.
And some of the mentioned battles, you know, if you're into sort of those kind of battlefield nostalgia, which a lot of people can be, then you'll be very impressed by this particular fighter and all that he achieved. He managed to take on a massive empire. Well, actually, no, I don't think it was as strong as it became. The Roman Empire. Oh, okay, yeah.
But he took on he was a big enemy to the Roman Empire.
Yeah, that's right.
So, then you had the mention of our presence in France.
Yes.
And in Russia.
In France.
Throughout Europe.
Everywhere.
So, we had the Saint of St. Petersburg.
Yes, let me see.
Do you remember his name?
Was it St. George?
No, the one who influenced...
St. Joseph.
The one who influenced Alexander Dumas.
Oh, right. Okay, yes. Yeah. It was St. George. St. George Legion was linked to Alexander Dumas. And this was very interesting for me personally because I'm trying to get through a book called The Black Count by Tom Rees. So St. George formed a legion which was a legion of excellent fighters, excellent soldiers, but they were all black.
All black.
All a black legion.
And we're talking about... When was this?
So that's okay. I don't want to give a false date.
So the 17th century is the time period we're talking about. we have to be more accurate with the
Yeah,
the
we
dates.
do. I did not put a date down, unfortunately, but yes.
Yeah, same.
And one of the fighters in that legion was Alexander Dumas, the now known great fighter that was one of the only black or African soldier, or what would you call it, lieutenant or person to reach
he got to
the highest rank
He reached it
in history.
in modern history.
Yeah.
Because obviously you had Septimus Severus, who was a Roman emperor. But in modern history, he got to the highest point that anyone could get to, that any black or
And
African.
of course, his
warrior
child
had.
his
child was the one who wrote about
Alexander
his,
Dumas Jr., the writer
of his stories.
Three Musketeers. Yeah, who
and
he
Three
wrote his
Musketeers.
stories, but through in an abstract way. He didn't do it blatantly.
Exactly. So you had the Saint of Saint Petersburg, which was Saint George Legions, and he was very, very interesting. Like, he was a violinist who had several recorded operas, and they the racism, it was more like the slavery period of that time. So racism had set in before the first slave ships came into Africa, and the need for racism to exist, there wasn't any. They, as Brother Paul was saying earlier about us, they acknowledged our existence, and throughout in many different ways, and also they there's several accounts of the Greeks, acknowledging that they got the information from African Egyptians. So when this racism is set in now, you have the Saint George here, or George St. Legions, who's basically a top violinist and a master. They said the best around in terms of sword fighting, fencing.
Yeah.
And he's the one who taught.
Handsome fella.
Well, I'm not one to. Yeah.
In the depiction.
You had he's the one who taught Alexander Dumas how to fight.
Alexander Senior, yeah, the general.
Yeah.
Who fought in Napoleon's
battlement. Yeah, and Napoleon. So Alexander Dumas ended up being so big that Napoleon was jealous.
He was jealous, but what I really love about
Lurking in his
Alexander
shadows.
Dumas is he was an amazing fighter, really brutal on the battlefield. But in terms of he had a humanitarian spirit. This is given in several different accounts of who he was. So he didn't believe in killing people unnecessarily. He would rather do things like set them free, or help them to give them food or whatever it was. He was seen as the big humanitarian, also the great humanitarian, quote unquote,
warrior with a heart.
Yeah,
not
so
gonna kill people for no reason.
For no reason, yeah. So it's really, I like that aspect of who he was as well.
Yeah,
but they're trying to make a film. They're trying to make a series or a film. Because I know this because I know the actor that was potentially going to be in it, starring as a mixed heritage brother. So, but it's a petition because these things aren't straightforward.
Well, they don't want to give money.
They don't give money to these projects. They make it more difficult.
Danny Glover and the Haitian Revolution.
Yeah, or they rather to portray them looking a certain way, which is another thing that Tony Warner was breaking down in his in the talk today. That they'll put in a poster in the Three Musketeers, they won't have the representative who is clearly described as someone who is melanated, but they won't put that in. Yeah.
And so, yeah, sorry. So what I wanted to say about St. George's Legion is that he's called the other Mozart.
Yeah, that is
quality
that
of
is fascinating.
His operas.
Yeah.
The top violinist as well as a top
And his
fighter.
music still played.
Right.
Still composed, still played today in these top places that play opera, you know, in Italy or anywhere, probably in France. They still use that music today.
Right.
But you don't learn about it in music when
No.
you do music. If you study music, it's going to be very rare that they're teaching you about who's actually responsible for that.
So he's a man of many skills, you know.
Amazing.
Like, and also, yeah, like we said, the top fencer, whereby they'd ask him, he'd ask the people, which button do you want me to flick off this opponent or whatnot, and he would do it with his sword, like a nut, like a nut. Yeah.
All
So
that.
he's the one who taught Alexander Dumas, and Alexander Dumas, as we said, was a great warrior, but also
That link is
he was serious. He was named something of the Alps, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh man.
Like a general of the Alps or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he donned the Alps because anyone in the mountains and that he took out, or was that basically researched the two of them because the two of them are serious.
That's right. They are. And who else? We've got Prophetess in the building.
Prophetess in the building to take over with some cosmic vibes.
That's right. And from 6 until 8, looking forward to that. And we just want to make sure we leave with a really positive note, because the amount of information that's out there, and we're feeling uplifted and empowered by it right now. We want to go out, tell the world what really is happening, and
as we do,
or what really happened, the his and her story. And spread that knowledge around, and that just pumped us up for the week. Now we can go.
Exactly.
That's what I recommend, is that people come out of the normal, we're going to go cinema, or we're going to do this or that. Nothing wrong with going cinema once in a while, but
as long as you're using your third eye.
Yeah, I mean, this place was packed today, actually. It was a really good turnout.
It was.
But do these kind of events.
Yeah, it's crucial.
It's good for you. It's a good way of networking. You'll meet people who are like-minded, who are on the same mission in terms of our betterment for our people.
Definitely.
Today, as we mentioned earlier, we've met them before, but we had panelists who are doing amazing stuff for the community.
Incredible stuff.
Really innovative and forward-thinking stuff. So when we call in, sometimes we have callers calling in saying, we need to do this, we need to that. People are doing certain things.
They just need the support.
They need the support. They need the. We need the
Community
masses
involvement.
Yes, we need the involvement
of the community.
That's it. So make sure you check out, there's a couple of ones to check out, which is the ubele.org, ubele.org, and also check out, I think it's CBUK 100 on Twitter, which is the movement that Philip Uday is part of. That's to do with the Saturday schools as well, and education. So these people are looking into our education and how we can implement our history into the curriculum, or create an alternative system for us. So having access to buildings where we can have more Saturday schools, because in every single borough all across the UK should be Black African Saturday schools.
Yeah, which can
everywhere
then
where
develop
we
into
are.
a African school.
Yes.
But you start from somewhere.
You start from somewhere, while they're saying, they're squeezing us and putting all this legislation against us to make it difficult. The supplementary schools is the way forward for us, because then at least they can't say nothing about that.
Exactly,
It's a supplementary school. And we had an example from a young man called
Prince.
Tyler. Yes, the young prince, who done a very lovely speech talking about
articulate speech.
Yeah, what was he telling us about Hannibal? He's telling us about learning
all
about
the things that he's learning,
and he broke
Chess.
down the day. Says we get there at
Vegan food.
9:30, even though they start at 9:45.
Martial arts.
They get there early so they're not late. Starts with meditation. Then they go into a bit of martial arts for the
Stretches.
body. Yeah, trainership. Then they do their stretches. Then they go into I think they go into maths and all those kind of lessons, curriculum-based subjects. Then they go into history,
real history.
You know, so he's telling us that we've learnt about Marcus Garvey,
King Mansa Musa.
You know, we give thanks to our ancestor Marcus Garvey. So they learn about that.
Ancestors, yeah.
And they learn about, oh gosh, he mentioned Hannibal. He mentioned,
King Mansa Musa.
Mansa Musa. He's given details.
Yeah, talking about King Mansa Musa, the rich, and you know what? Actually, to mention King Mansa Musa now, there's something about legacy, that is so fascinating. It's something that taps into universal truth. As much as they try and whitewash it, it will always come out.
It always comes out.
And King Mansa Musa, I don't know, was he with me? I was looking at the richest people in the world.
He was
the IB. It was some mainstream white publication, and number one, it says, you had Bill Gates at number 12, and you had all those elite families that we're talking about, Rockefeller, then you have Rothschilds in there somewhere. Say number 2 actually. Then number one. Numero, what's the African for one?
The African for one, oh no.
Oh, well, we're going to use Ubuntu, I am because we are.
The Swahili for number 1.
Yeah.
You can say.
Yeah. So, like, King Mansa Musa.
Yeah.
King Mansa Musa. So, yeah, this young prince mentioned King Mansa Musa. King Mansa Musa was worth, they say, like $400 billion.
That's ridiculous. I mean,
it's insane.
But what I like about King Mansa Musa is when I hear about that, because, like we say, people that are holding on to money is not good. But what I did like and hear about, what you read about, is that he gave a lot of gold away, and he gave a lot of gold away to. He visited Egypt at one stage, and he nearly messed up the economy there because he was giving away so much gold.
He gave so much gold
to the people, the average people.
The economy nearly crashed.
Yeah, then he did the favour of taking it back or something like that, or replenishing to the people that were suffering as a consequence. So I like that side of the story, because I'm not a believer in hoarding gold and.
No, but he didn't, and that's the thing. And
he
that's
gave it away.
Not just the Egyptian. What he did is also he built a lot of things. So he built centres that annexed Timbuktu and built up the university, the centre of learning there.
That's it.
And on his travel, on his pilgrims,
he built a lot of
built a lot of institutions and he was a Muslim, so he built a lot of mosques.
Yeah, he did. So
like, he done a lot.
That's true.
He expanded his empire. Like, it was very powerful. It wasn't just the money represents his power as well.
Yeah.
So his empire was massive, huge,
really, really big.
And
so
nobody knows how he really died.
That's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
But okay, well, I did want a quick point to make. I really did want to make a really, really, really quick point about all of this learning, about this journey that Nat and I are on in terms of learning. This all is going to be taken back with us to our travels, our mission in Africa too, because as much as learning about Africa, when we go there, we're going to be imparting knowledge as well, because it's a give and exchange.
Sharing, giving and taking.
Giving and taking.
It's taking knowledge and giving knowledge.
That's it. And so that's why it's very important to put everything in context as a whole 3D picture, while we're still in this 3D realm, and being able to impart that knowledge to our listeners today. It's been a blessing, really.
Yeah, actually, before we sign out,
we
have to shout out to Narrative Eye. Google Narrative Eye as well.
Yes, Narrative-I. Check them out. They are brilliant, force to be reckoned with. We've also said to make sure you purchase the book by Onyeka Nubia,
Blackamoors. And
just because for Black Study Group's sake, because we want to promote the knowledge that we learn, there's a couple of reads we were told about that you should also try and get hold of. The Black Count by Tom Rees. We also were told about a couple of books regarding children's education, how a West Indian child is made subnormal in the British school system. That's by Kehinde Andrews. And the last one I wanted for you to check out is Race Inequality and the Black Supplementary School Movement. Actually, that one's from Kehinde Andrews, and the one before was by Bernard Cord. Okay, give thanks.
Up next, Prophetess. Blessings. We've been
Stella B
and Nat Nye.
All right, blessings.
Though I was born in the tax era, I remember the ancestor. Open your eyes, oceans wide with the fat measure. Rap treasure, glam brothers, better act better no matter the weather, yo. We still under this damn pressure, mad stress the dual age with physical rage. Remember, back in the day, watching Liverpool play, Robbie Fowler and Ian Rush. Remember thinking I was really tough until I got treated rough and beaten up. Now, a circle just got their thoughts square. My words are weapons while they're into modern warfare. I'm old school, so I fight off the Cyclops, the London Eye, the iPads, the iPhones, the iPods. And when it's fat, every track is a quality track. Going back, my first word said was probably a rap. I remember break beats that make people dance. Whatever happened to killing in your b-boy stance? Do you remember? Remembering the veterans, every message sent was medicine, and everything is everything, a specimen of melanin. Stepping in, rebelling is them again, a menacing. Deadly sting, getting in, flesh and skin, head and limb. Demons dance for devils sing, if anything. Spread your wings, I'm breathing bars to reach the stars that keep me charged. On speakers blast and beats the heart, it keeps the hearts from freedom pass. And I really can't leave the past. Knowledge is power if you know the ledge. Let's get it cracking like open eggs. Rose up step from stolen bikes to stolen pets. My foes have left, I'm going right, I know it's best. Radiating in my solar plex. Those special memories and golden times I won't forget, cause I remember.
I remember me as a youngin' listening to Pop's vinyls. I knew from the start that I'd end up in the cycle, rubbing shoulders with greatest musicians who made it before they make it. On the radio playlist, trying to find myself, trying to find my soul. SOS for help, the music takes control of me, getting me back on my feet. I visualize the memories in my sleep of me dreaming for stardom and playing a part in the real music you can put in your car and cruise and take a step back and listen to the music you're making, find it in the piece in you. Am I reaching you? If I ain't, then the beat's got to.
Are we seeping through? If we ain't, then the beat's got to.
Kneel down, we rise up. Apply pressure to the pipe, then it might bust. I'm a king taking the ride on the night bus. There's hungry people, but all they see is dry crust.
And
The
because
evil
we
that
are,
tries to live
therefore
inside us.
I am.
Everyone loves the Gambia, your haven in Africa. Everyone loves the Gambia, tropical paradise. Where can you go for sun, sand and sea? Very good.